A term that we often use at Refold is noticing, or you may have heard us talk about the noticing game. I want to talk about what noticing is, why it's useful, and how you can implement it into your learning today. First, a quick bit about what we call noticing versus the noticing hypothesis, a proper noun. The noticing hypothesis is a linguistic theory created by Richard Schmidt in the 1990s. He thought that in order to make progress in a language, you must notice things. Input that was consciously processed is intake, and that's what would make you progress in a language. That has little scientific merit, and that's not what we're talking about when we use the word noticing. It's just a coincidence of the names. Our idea of noticing instead is about noticing being a tool for focusing on the language. We have anecdotal evidence that it makes the acquisition process easier and faster, but that's not even the main point. The main usefulness comes from the focus. We do think that it's impossible to acquire or learn a language if you're not focusing on it at all. Those learn German while you sleep videos are ridiculous and just want your AdSense. But focusing on a language that you're terrible at is hard, like really hard. Even if you don't have any attention problems, you're very diligent, and you're in the most zen mood, it's still hard to focus. But noticing gives you something to do. It acts as a conduit for your focus so that you can pay attention to the language. That's why it doesn't really matter what you focus on, it can kind of be anything. We recommend people start with words since they're everywhere, and it's usually the first thing you learn in a language. And noticing common words is pretty easy to do. But don't necessarily think it's the same thing as understanding and comprehending words. That's not super important yet. Instead, when you're noticing and focusing on the language, all you're trying to do is see things that you've already learned or that look interesting. You don't want to get frustrated when you notice things that you learned before but can't remember. That's super normal. It takes a lot of exposure for words to sink in. And the most common words in languages often have multiple meanings, so it's usually not your fault. In my own Czech learning, I have over 200 words that I've looked up 12 or more times. It takes a while for new words to truly set in, especially in new contexts. As you make progress in the language, you will start to notice different things. Maybe at the beginning you're just noticing what a word looks like, then you notice that it has a different meaning in some contexts. So then maybe you notice that it gets pronounced a different way when combined with something else. Everyone will have a very different experience with each word in each language. But that experience is exactly what will help you to build a natural intuition for the language. But it's important to give yourself permission, especially at the beginning, just to notice, even if you don't fully grasp something yet. You will in time, I promise. Another example that you might find useful in later stages of noticing is how people pronounce things in their dialectical way. Especially as you're learning to output in the language, it's very useful to notice the ways that people talk and use the language. Maybe you hear me say the word can, but another English speaker says can. You may not know why that is or what's exactly happening, but being in tune with the language helps you to pick up on more subtlety and is just useful. Again, this is really just a tool of focus on the language. And the final thing I want to say about noticing is speeding up the whole process. Like I said, this is mostly anecdotal, but I do think it's important. When you're trying to acquire a second language, your first language can cause blind spots that a native speaker wouldn't have. For example, tone. If your native language doesn't have tone, your brain kind of learns to tune it out. And so, if you start learning a language that does have tone, but you're unaware of it, you may not acquire it, or it might take a long time. So, learning that tone exists and then specifically noticing and listening for it helps you to avoid that blind spot. The alternative would be waiting for 10,000 hours of input, which isn't guaranteed to work anyway. So, to wrap all this up, noticing helps you to focus on a brand new language. It doesn't matter if you're understanding everything, that comes with time. Be on the lookout for anything you learned about the language to help it set in, and before you know it, you'll be not just noticing, but understanding as well. I hope this video helps make the topic a little more clear. Your assignment is this. Go notice something. The next time you're doing something in your target language, try to notice words, phrases, or sounds that you learned about, and then come back and share with us in the comments. What's your win of the day? Did you just notice the kanji that you learned earlier this morning, even though you forgot the meaning? Or did you finally see someone use a new sentence construction that you noticed earlier in the day? Or is a character using a different regional accent with some different pronunciations that you heard? Let us know. Don't forget to leave a like and make sure you're subscribed. But I'll see you in the next video. Happy immersing! Hey, as you know, there's a lot of language learning advice out there, which can make it kind of overwhelming and difficult to actually get going on your own learning. If you feel like you're struggling to figure out language learning, you're not alone. It's an extremely complicated process with tons of different steps. If you're looking for a step-by-step guide to create the perfect language learning routine for you, then you have to check out our new course. We spent thousands of hours designing a simple and straightforward process that you can use to create your own personalized language routine that actually works. We understand that every learner is different and that you have to roll with the punches and adapt. Every day for 30 days, I walk you through everything you need to know to build an effective learning routine, no matter your circumstances. We give you the advice and resources you need to ensure your success, so you don't have to waste time looking for stuff to do and can focus on learning. And if any questions do come up, don't worry. We are always there to answer any questions and clear up confusion. And it's all backed by our 90-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. If, for whatever reason, something's not quite working for you, we insist you get every penny back. It's time for you to stop wishing that you could learn a second language. It's time to become the master of your language learning journey. Check out the link below to get instant access and start your journey today.